How's it going, everybody? This is the most excited I've ever been for a video on my channel. Welcome to the Ultimate Villain tier list. Let's go. Now, in case the word ultimate wasn't enough evidence that we have a lot of villains to rank, here you go. We have a lot of villains to rank. Now, I'm not going to be ranking these villains on any specific scale at all. It basically just comes to how much I like them, how well they're written, and overall just how good they are. Also, if you noticed your favorite villain's not on this list, I apologize. I plan on making this like a multi-part series if this video does well. And because like the villain ranking's like an infinite content glitch, like you'll never run out. There's like an infinite amount of villains out there. So if you guys want to see a villain that I don't have on here that you want me to cover in the future, let me know in the comments. Also, let me try again. Let me redeem myself. I know it didn't go that well last time, but let me put some gaming B-roll footage over the video. I'll pick a chiller game last time. For those who are new to the channel and have no idea what I'm talking about, I put B-roll over a Breaking Bad aura ranking video, and I picked like the most overstimulating game ever, so I think that's part of the problem, but I have a feeling this video is going to be pretty long, so I feel like the B-roll matches better here. But let me know what you guys think, because I personally really like the B-roll, I'm not going to lie, but I got to give the people what they want. Alright, I'm going to stop yapping, but first, if you liked the video, subscribe, like the video, all that stuff the YouTubers tell you to do, because it would really help me out a lot and I would appreciate it very much. Alright, first up, we have possibly the most iconic villain in fiction. I think that's fair to say. We got Darth Vader. Now, I don't know if you guys know this about me, but Star Wars is by far my favorite franchise of all time. I love everything about it. Most people will probably think it's Breaking Bad, because if you go on my channel, all my videos are like Breaking Bad related in some way. But that's just because YouTube like decides not to push my videos in the algorithm that aren't Breaking Bad related. But Star Wars, absolutely love it. I love everything about Star Wars. And I mean, literally, Star Wars is about Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker. The sequels aren't canon. Remember, we don't talk about the sequels, but 1 through 6, it's all about Anakin's turn into Darth Vader and Darth Vader's redemption. I think Darth Vader is as close to a perfect antagonist as you can possibly get. And dude's got aura, man. I know I have to include the word aura into every single video, but look at the guy. He literally ruled by fear. Search up, if you guys don't know anything about Star Wars or Darth Vader, just look up Darth Vader hallway scene, and that's all the information you need to go on. He's absolutely him. I think he's probably the most iconic villain of all time, and my personal favorite villain of all time. Absolute peak. We can all agree on that, right? Also, another reason why Disney ruined Star Wars, again, every single time Star Wars comes up, I gotta mention that. How did Luke try to kill his nephew over some bad dreams whenever he didn't give up on Darth Vader, who was the most evil man in the galaxy that inflicted terror upon like millions? Like, I don't understand what Rian Johnson was cooking up. Also, Revenge of the Sith is the best Star Wars movie. Just felt like I had to say that. I need to flex my love of the Star Wars prequels as much as I can. Take this as a reminder to go watch it in theaters if you haven't already. Alright, next up we have the guy responsible for all my YouTube views pretty much. Now, if you guys haven't picked up on something, Walter White isn't really a villain. He's the protagonist of Breaking Bad, but I mean, look at the guy. Heisenberg, he's a villain. He's a straight up villain. Not in this story, but like objectively, he's a villain. Come on now. Walter White's veiny dick. Walter is responsible for the biggest death toll in the entire series too, by the way, with the plane crash. It was multiple people's faults, but it's mainly his fault. You know, if he didn't turn Jane over, she probably would have survived. And even whenever she was overdosing, he could have saved her. But, you know, he didn't save her so he could have that cool monologue moment with Jesse in season 5. He was, you know, investing in the future episodes. Literally everything bad that happens in this show is almost entirely Walt's fault. If Walt didn't exist, everybody would be living in harmony right now. But obviously, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. He's supposed to be a bad guy. That's the point. It creates a dilemma to where we love him, but also we understand that he's not a good guy. Kind of like Tony Soprano. Tony Soprano and Mario kind of look alike. Also, before you guys comment it, I know I put Hal on here twice. For some reason, I can't delete entries on Tier Maker, so that's kind of annoying, but just assume that, like, just imagine that there's only one, okay? Just imagine. What do you guys think Walter White's freakiest moment in Breaking Bad is? That's another video I should make, ranking all of Walter White's freaky moments. That's a pretty good video idea. I mean, like, I think I would get crucified if I put him anywhere but peak. So we're going to go ahead and put him at peak. I don't think he's as good as Darth Vader, but Darth Vader's in like his whole tier. I realistically should have put like Darth Vader in his own separate tier, but I didn't do that. It's too late now. We're already running with it. I gotta lock in. Next up, we have Anton Chigurh. Anton Chigurh turned No Country for Old Men into a straight horror movie. People need to talk about that more. That movie is scary, dude. Just this absolute monster cartel hitman. I don't know why, but one of like my biggest fears is the Mexican cartel. Even though I'm like a pale white guy from Missouri, I don't think they really care about me. I'm not important to them. But still, I'm scared. I've seen too many videos online, bro. I've been scarred. So like Anton Chigurh works with the cartel sometimes. Even though I'd say Anton's more like a mercenary than anything. But he works with the cartel. I'm terrified of cartels. So it plays into that a little bit with me, I think. I'm talking about like the most uninteresting part of Anton's character right now. His whole philosophy and how he views the world is insane. If you guys want to know more about that, I mean, I made a whole video on that a while ago. I haven't rewatched it in like a month, so maybe it sucks now. I don't know. But I remember being pretty proud of that video at the time. I just find Anton's like view on life and how he views everyone around him, how he views himself, to be very interesting. Anton does not feel like he kills the people that he does. He feels like fate brought two people together and he is simply a messenger of death. Dude, messenger of death, that sounds so cool. That's aura right there. That's aura. Also, Anton is like always in the right place at the right time until the end, which I'll get to in a second. Sorry if I'm yapping too much, but that's kind of like what my channel's here for. Me making the jokes and yapping. I mean, if you guys expected like a high quality analytical video, sorry to disappoint you. But Anton, literally, he's the perfect killing machine, and that's what makes him so terrifying. Also, mentally, he is too. He does not care about the people that he kills. He'll kill you for no reason. If you lose a coin toss, he'll kill you. Obviously, if you watch the movie, that's his big thing, a coin toss. And that eventually comes back to, you know, mess him up later. I'll get to that. Wow, I stuttered a lot in that one recording. That was insane. I'm sorry about that. But Anton Chigurh is a murderous psychopath that thinks he's basically a god of sorts. He kind of views himself as the Grim Reaper. I guess you could say that's a fair comparison. But what I keep referring to is the car crash at the very end of the movie, where Anton gets hit by the person in the car, definitely a woman driver. Unfortunately, I'm at the point where I have to start elaborating my jokes and say that they're just jokes and not serious. So that was just a joke. Please don't get mad. Back to Anton getting absolutely powed by that car. He gets out, he's all bloody and stuff. And what were the chances of that car running the red light and hitting him? Maybe 50-50. And you know, 50-50 is a theme in No Country for Old Men a lot. Like, you remember that scene where Sheriff Gray walks up to the two doors, one has Anton behind them, the other one doesn't. That could have been seen as a coin toss, 50-50 chance. If he walked behind one door, he could have got shot by Anton, but he picked the correct one and walked through, which that scene has a multitude of meanings and things you could take from it. I've seen people think that it's just Sheriff Gray's anxiety taking a toll on him, and he thinks Anton's behind the door whenever he's actually not. I mean, the big thing about No Country for Old Men that I love is that a lot of things are up to interpretation. Now, that doesn't work all the time, but I think it works really, really well in this story in particular. Alright, we're already almost 9 minutes in. We're only 3 down. I gotta start getting through some of these. Anton Chigurh. We are 3 for 3 with peak characters right now. We'll get to some other ones that aren't as great later, I promise. But so far, I don't see anything wrong with having these 3 in peak. They are really peak villains. Next up, we got I Have a Plan, John. Ever heard of Tahiti? Oh, about that massacre back in Blackwater, you shot that woman? You remember that? But, like, have you ever heard of Tahiti, though? You just gotta trust me, John. Wow, that impression might be the worst thing I've ever heard in my life. I'm sorry you guys had to sit through that. Now, Red Dead 2 is tied for my favorite game of all time. Actually, with the next game that we're going to talk about in the next entry, but right now we're talking about Red Dead 2 and Dutch in particular. Micah Bell is obviously way more hated, and I hate Micah Bell way more than Dutch. But whenever I look at Dutch, I see a person obsessed with power. He's kind of like Griffith in that way. Just like a little watered down compared to Griffith, obviously. But Dutch cares about loyalty and he cares about power. And so, like, whenever, you know, Arthur's kind of turning on him, which for good reason, duh. But Arthur's turning on him, and he kind of has a mental breakdown. Everybody that he loves is either getting arrested or killed, and he just breaks down and goes absolutely insane. Obviously, if you guys have played the games, you know that already, but I'm just reiterating, you know, trying to justify where I put Dutch, because this one's kind of a difficult one in my opinion, because I don't know if he's necessarily peak, but I really want to put him peak, I'm not gonna lie. If you guys have not played the Red Dead games, what are you doing? Go play it right now. Play Red Dead Redemption 2 first, then go to Red Dead Redemption 1, and play Red Dead Revolver if you really want to. That one's not really that important. I remember playing that back on my old PS2 before it got stolen. Good times, man. But Dutch, he's the leader of the Vanderlyn gang. Probably one of the most important characters, if not the most important character, other than like the main protagonist, obviously, in the Red Dead universe. So I want to put him peak, but I don't know. I think great works. I might move him up later. It depends on how the tier list starts to like get more solidified, I guess. We get more people in there. I might move some characters around, but for now, he's in great. Alright, next up, we have Adam Smasher from Cyberpunk 2077. Cyberpunk 2077 was the game that I was talking about whenever I said it's tied with Red Dead 2 for my favorite game of all time. If you guys have not played Cyberpunk 2077, go play it right now. Go buy it right now. It goes on sale on Steam every once in a while for like $30 whenever it's on sale, or if you really want to play it, just buy it now. Go play it, please. It will change your life. It is so good. Also, Panem is a baddie, man. Now, the thing with Adam Smasher, I think his design is 10 out of 10. Everything about him is 10 out of 10, except for the fact that he was so criminally underutilized in the game. It was insane. You see him at the very beginning of the game and the very end of the game. You don't really see him that much in between. Even in the anime, bro, which by the way, Cyberpunk Edgerunners was the first anime I ever sat down and watched. Is that kind of crazy? I got into it late because I used to be an anime hater. I'm just gonna confess to you right now. And then I decided to actually give it a chance, and I'm like, wait, why is this actually like really good? So, perfect example of don't knock it till you try it. But Adam Smasher doesn't even show up in the anime until like the last 20 minutes, which, trust me, his impact on the story is felt in those 20 minutes. If you guys haven't watched the anime, you should watch it. It's really good. You can watch it in like one sitting. The whole show is like the length of a movie. It's like 2.5 hours. It's really good, trust me. And I mean, I think it was a good starter anime. Maybe not everybody's first starter anime, but it was for me. And so I have a special connection to it, you feel me? And Cyberpunk, I love everything about the Cyberpunk universe, so it just stood out to me. So I gave it a chance, and then I ended up being like, you know what? This anime stuff, it isn't so bad. I think it's just the anime fan base is like what do you think of whenever you think of an anime fan or a weeb? You think of a neckbeard, fat, acne-riddled man. And that's not really the reputation I ever wanted, but also, I think 90% of people who watch anime are like the chillest dudes you will ever meet. It's just that 10% is very outgoing and vocal and stinky too, which I mean, my big obsession right now is a anime. Well, it's more of a manga, which I'll tell you whenever we get to them, but it's like my big obsession right now. I absolutely love everything about it, and I'll let you know whenever we get to that. But we're talking about Adam Smasher. Again, 10 out of 10 design. I think he is so cool. But he was just so underutilized. He didn't do anything. But every single time you see him in the game, you're like, oh my god. I think I might be one of the few Adam Smasher fanboys out there, but I just can't put him anywhere higher than good. Now, if they used him more in the story, peak without question. I love him so much. I think he is so sick and so cool. But like, you know, I said this in my last video, but like, whatever the complaint about something is, I wish there was more of it. That's not necessarily a bad thing, right? That's how I feel about Adam Smasher. If you ask me, like, if this was like a villain design tier list, peak without question. I think Adam Smasher is sick, but like I've said a million times before, I keep repeating myself now, I just think he was underutilized, and it's a real shame. Next up, I'm so lonely. We have Conquest. Now, Conquest is him. Bro legit shows up out of literally nowhere. Also, here's the thing. How did Conquest find out where Mark's exact location is? Don't worry about it. But he shows up out of complete nowhere, has a 30-minute peak fight, and then dips. absolute legend behavior. The Viltrumites kind of use Conquest as like a nuclear bomb. I think that's a good way to explain it. Like, bro even says they send him from planet to planet committing atrocities in their name. He's like, I don't care about all that Viltrumite Empire stuff, coalition stuff. I just want to run a fade, bro. And I can respect that. He's a lot like Battle Beast, just playing on the opposite side. Seems like a chill dude, except for the fact that he's, you know, like splitting kids in half and like talking dirty to Mark. Bro was legit venting to Mark, treating him like a diary that he's about to burn. Hold up, his writing is fire! Also, I should probably reiterate, every single time I talk about Invincible, I have to mention that I haven't read the comics yet. So I know I've gotten some spoilers, though. I know what's going to happen in the later seasons, but right now I'm just going to be talking about show Conquest. He doesn't really do much. He's only in one episode. But oh my god, whenever he's on screen, you pucker your booty hole a little bit. Alright, I think Conquest is a perfect candidate to go into great tier. He could climb his way up to peak tier in the later seasons. We'll just have to see. I'm going to sound like a fangirl for this next one. I love Alien, bro. I love the Alien franchise so much. The Xenomorph is the coolest alien in all of fiction. I love everything about the Alien franchise. It's my second favorite franchise. I feel like nobody really loves Alien as much as I do, which... Sorry, that sounded like narcissistic. If you like it as much as me, let me know. Because it'd be great to see that there's more people out there like me. But I've never really found somebody that matches my enthusiasm for these movies. I think every movie is a hit, minus two. And you probably think I'm going to be talking about the prequels. No, the prequels are absolutely amazing movies. Alien Resurrection and Alien 3 are bad. They're like objectively bad, especially Resurrection. Alien 3 had like some good moments in it, but it's overall just a pretty bad movie. Resurrection... yeah, it's really bad. Except Tuco Salamanca's in it, which we'll talk about Tuco Salamanca later, don't you worry. But Xenomorph, absolutely amazing. We're also going to be including all of the Xenomorph variants into this one. I love the Xenomorph so much, dude. You guys don't understand the enthusiasm I have for these movies. Aliens, the second one, is the best movie in the franchise, by the way. A lot of people prefer Alien. My big problem with Alien, which it's kind of a stupid complaint because it was released in the 70s, the movie overall looks very, very good, like weirdly good, until the Xenomorph is on the screen. It's too obviously just a man in a costume. That kind of took me out of it. That's my big complaint with Alien. But with Aliens, you bring in the Xenomorph Queen. That thing looks absolutely insane. The Xenomorph Queen. You know the scene where Ripley and Newt walk into the Xenomorph Queen's nest and it's just sitting there laying eggs? That's the best scene in the entire franchise. Fight me on it. I absolutely love that scene. And the second best scene is whenever Ripley's fighting the Xenomorph Queen with the mech. I absolutely love the Alien franchise. I wish I would make more videos about it, but I need to know if you guys want to see those type of videos, because I make these videos for you guys to enjoy, obviously. So yeah, Xenomorph, peak villain, fight me on it. You're not going to change my mind. Come on, I absolutely love it. Next up, we have Nutsack Chin. I feel bad for the people that weren't there to experience the endgame hype. I think Infinity War is the objective best Marvel movie in my opinion. I might be forgetting some. That might be a bad take. I don't really remember, but in my opinion, I think it is probably... It's top 3 for sure. Can we all agree on that? This man had like the whole population in a chokehold. Literally everybody was talking about the snap. They were all talking about Endgame. Every conversation revolved around Thanos. You had to be there, dude. You just had to be there after Infinity War. And like a few months before Endgame dropped, whenever that hype was building. It was such a great time. Super nostalgic time. I absolutely love it. Thanos is a great villain. If I put Thanos anywhere other than peak, it would be a disservice. Let's be honest here. Alright, next up, we pissing our pants yet? We have Negan. Negan carries Season 7. I'll defend Season 7 and even Season 8 of The Walking Dead. I'm not going to lie. I am a Walking Dead defender. I love that show. But we all know what I'm going to talk about here. Warning, if you haven't seen The Walking Dead, huge spoilers for like probably the most impactful moment of the entire show, if we're being honest here. Glenn's death. And Abraham too. I loved Abraham. It's sad that his death kind of got blown over by Glenn's. But Glenn's death, oh my god. I legit like wanted to cry, dude. Probably one of the best villain introductions of all time. Let's be honest here. Is that a crazy take? Is that a little bit over exaggerating? Maybe, but I think it's definitely up there. Also, is it just me, or does Jeffrey Dean Morgan look so much like Aaron Rodgers that it was kind of distracting? Like, is it just me? He turned Rick into his little twink. Honestly, most people think he's the best villain in The Walking Dead. I disagree. We have a few Walking Dead villains here, and I'll let you know which one's my favorite whenever we get to him. But Negan, I think he's still great. I'm a Walking Dead defender. I love The Walking Dead, okay? I can't stand this Walking Dead hate that's super popular. Yeah, sure, the last few seasons were, bad. They were. But let's not forget what The Walking Dead once was, okay? So do you guys remember back in the Adam Smasher section whenever I said that there was a certain anime / manga that I was, like, obsessed with right now? It was Berserk. And with Berserk, we have Griffith on the tier list. Griffith has to be one of the most hated people in fiction. But you know what? I've seen a recent trend where there's a lot of Griffith fanboys out there now. It's a weird switch. Griffith has been like the most consistently hated person in fiction for like a while now, and all of a sudden people are coming together to praise him. Like, what happened? What changed? Did you... I know what it is, actually. It's people, they watch these TikTok funk edits of Griffith and they're like, huh, maybe he's not so bad after all, you know? The eclipse happened and that's like tragic and all that, but couldn't be that bad, you know? Like, just read what happened. Sure, pre-eclipse Griffith was chill. I liked Griffith before the eclipse, but the eclipse is completely indefensible, dude. Like, come on. I did kind of like Griffith before the eclipse, like I mentioned before. He was kind of weird though in some instances. Like, you could always tell that there's more going on, which, I'm going to be honest, I had the entirety of Berserk spoiled for me before I started reading it, so I already knew who Griffith was going to become. He was going to become Femto and sacrifice literally everybody that he loves and do some stuff to Casca and make Guts' life a living hell. But if I never got that spoiled for me and I didn't know what was going to happen, I would have liked Griffith. You know, pre-eclipse Griffith. That's important to mention. I don't understand how anybody likes post-eclipse Griffith. And I see people saying Griffith did nothing wrong. Rage bait used to be believable, bro. But as a villain, 10 out of 10. Obviously, I absolutely despise Griffith, but that's what makes him such a perfect villain. Next up, we have the man in the most underrated Avengers movie, Ultron. Now, I'll defend my take that Age of Ultron is not a bad movie. I absolutely love that movie. Ultron carries. There's just something about Ultron that is so cool. Which I feel like I'm saying this for every single villain we've had so far. Don't worry, we'll get into some bad villains later. But right now we're on a streak of just great villains, and that streak's going to continue for a little bit longer. Ultron though, absolutely amazing. Carried Age of Ultron so hard. I think it's because I'm a big fan of like sci-fi action stuff like that. That's why I like Ultron so much. But I mean, he's just sick. And also his final conversation with Vision was like super interesting. That's peak Marvel writing right there. How did the company that made that also make She-Hulk? I guess they hired too many purple-haired fat women. Also, have you guys noticed like all the Avengers villains talking like edit quotes? It's like they're baiting the Brazilian funk guys to make an edit with them. And I mean, it works. I gotta give credit where credit is due. It's a good marketing scheme. Also, I know Ultron in the comics is like way better than in the movies, but I just wanted to defend my take on Age of Ultron being a good movie because that's an opinion that's not really that popular. And I like to get my unpopular opinions out there. So Ultron, I don't think he's peak, but I think great is the perfect spot for Ultron. Alright, next up we have, where's Omni Man? Where is he? If you guys couldn't tell from some of my videos, I'm also having an Invincible obsession right now. Now, I'll just kind of summarize everything I said in my villain tier list for Invincible. I think Omni Man is the best villain in Invincible. I don't think it's really that close at all. He carries. He's also the best written character and the coolest character in the franchise too. And his fight with Invincible, well, I say fight, it's more just absolutely laying the meat on him, pause. But his fight with Invincible is absolute peak. It ended like absolute peak. Omni-Man, what can I say about Omni-Man that hasn't already been said? He's the best written character in Invincible, best Invincible character easily. Well, maybe not easily. I think Invincible's up there too, but I think Omni-Man is just on a different level, you know? Omni-Man, great. Pretty easy peak in my opinion. I don't think anybody's gonna disagree with me on that, right? Next up we have the Kaisar from Fallout New Vegas. I'm pretty sure that's how you say his name. He's the leader of Caesar's Legion. I'm not gonna lie, whenever the Kaisar told me that if I did a job for him he was gonna give me Benny, I considered siding with them. I'm not gonna lie, they seemed chill as long as, you know, they weren't trying to enslave me, but they weren't, so they're chill, right? But as an actual villain, I'm kind of conflicted on where to put him, because he's not that iconic. He's not as iconic as someone as like Mr. House, but the way he views the world and the way he views humans need to, you know, get running up back again after the Great War, I think it's very interesting. I mean, the ancient Rome was one of the most successful civilizations of all time, you feel me? It ran for like 1,000 years, I think. My history on that's a little shaky. I think that's right. But why not just redo it? Why not start over again? And I like that about him. But as an actual villain, I don't think he's on the... I think he's on the same level as Atom Smasher. I view them as like polar opposites. He's way better written than Atom Smasher, but personally, I like Atom Smasher way more. If this was like just my opinion, how much I like each one over like no real specific standards, Atom Smasher would be like in one of the top tiers because I think he's just sick. But Kaisar is such a well-written character that I have to put him up here somewhere, right? I think every single man dreams of restarting ancient Rome and being the big face behind it. Absolute Chad. Next up we have Ghostface. Okay, this one's going to be kind of complicated because it's literally just a dude with a knife. Is it weird to say that Scream is like one of, if not the most survivable slasher villain universe, whatever you want to call it? Is that weird to say? I'm sure there's some other obscure ones I'm not thinking of right now, but off the top of my head, I think Scream is pretty easy to survive. He's just a dude with a knife, okay? Get that 12 gauge out and blast that guy. But I mean, he's so iconic that I gotta put him at least somewhat high up. So I level it out. We get two good villains back to back. I think that's fair, right? Okay, I'm excited about this next one. All Tomorrows is so terrifying to me. By the way, this is the Q from All Tomorrows. I'll explain what all that means in a second. But All Tomorrows is so terrifying to me, dude. I don't know why it bothers me so much. The illustrations definitely add to the creepiness of it, but I'm going to be honest, body horror messes with me a lot. And whenever I say body horror, I don't mean somebody getting beat up. No, I don't care about that. I'm talking about whenever the human form is melted down and like, I was going to say contracted, but that doesn't sound right. Morphed into something that it's not. The idea of being something that's not human is like terrifying to me for some reason. So basically, the Q, aka the villain we're talking about now, is basically a godlike being compared to us that has mastered genetic coding. What this means is basically they can turn living things into literally whatever they want. So basically, All Tomorrows takes place in the far future in humanity. And basically, humans are like these galaxy-conquering beings. They live in the stars, you know, all that good stuff. And then this being called the Q makes contact with humans. And they're like, hey, if you want to be our pets, be our guest. If not, we're going to morph you into these absolute abominations of species, dude. I'm oversimplifying it a lot. But if you want to know more about it, watch some videos on it or just read it. It's really interesting in my opinion. I really like the story of All Tomorrows. And so some colonies of the human race fought against the Q, and the Q morphed them into the most hideous things ever. Like there's this one human subspecies that keeps all of their memories from before they got turned into this subspecies, that they're basically just a big flesh kilt. I'm not good at pronouncing things, I'm sorry, I suck at what I do. Quilt. Think I got it that time. So yeah, the Q, is it great or peak? I'll put it great, because we have too many characters in peak, let's be honest. Alright, next up we have Hal from 2001: A Space Odyssey. 2001: A Space Odyssey is a cinematic masterpiece. I saw someone say that it's a mid-film, but a cinematic masterpiece, and I kind of understand that, I'm not gonna lie. Me personally, I absolutely love everything about it, but I understand it's not for everybody. I think to fully appreciate it, you have to put yourself in the shoes of someone from the 60s watching this for the first time. Here's another thing the movie looks so good. Like, it looks weirdly good, especially for the 60s. It looks like a movie that could be out today, and I would not be able to tell. It looks great. HAL is probably like one of the first instances in cinema of like AI turning on humans and being evil. I'm sure it's one of the first. Come on now. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm sure it is. HAL is so disturbing for some reason. Just the way he conducts himself. It's terrifying, man. HAL is like probably one of the most iconic villains on here. So I'll put him great, I think. I think he's on the same level as these. I'm considering if I should move Ultron down or not. I'll make that decision later. I don't know about him being on the same level as HAL and the Q and Negan and all them. Reminder to watch 2001: A Space Odyssey though if you're a fan of sci-fi and interesting artistic films. I absolutely love that movie. It might be one of my favorite movies of all time. Next up we have the Joker, specifically Heath Ledger's Joker. Do I even need to say anything? I don't know if I've said this before, but I believe a story can have a mid-protagonist. I'm not calling Batman mid, I'm just saying in general. A story can have a mid-protagonist as long as it has a great villain. I think a villain is like the most important character in the story, I'm not gonna lie. Literally everybody is still talking about Heath Ledger's Joker, and not that many people are still talking about Christian Bale's Batman. I'm sorry. My big complaint with the Christopher Nolan Batman movies is the fact that Batman talks like this. Like, it just gets annoying after a while, I'm not gonna lie. I absolutely love Christian Bale, one of my favorite actors. But, like, come on, there's no way you expect me to take that seriously. Come on now. I don't know why I'm throwing strays at Batman. I love Batman, one of my favorite superheroes. He's top 3 for sure. Speaking of which, I might do a superhero tier list. That idea just came to me. It's been done many times before, but I'll put my own spin on it. Let me know if you guys want to see that. I mean, Heath Ledger's Joker might be one of the greatest, if not the greatest acting performance of all time. The people around Heath Ledger during that time were like shocked at how good he was at acting. And if you look through Heath Ledger's notebook during the filming of The Dark Knight, you could tell bro was actually the Joker. And it's a shame that Heath Ledger, did what he did after the movie released, but Heath Ledger's Joker, one of the most iconic villains of all time, and possibly the greatest acting job of all time. Okay, next up we have the best Fallout villain, the Master. His name sounds like a weird sex play thing, but he is so cool, dude. He carried Fallout 1. The Master's final speech whenever he unalives himself is the highlight of the first game, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, and if you look at it, some people could see the Master as kind of a protagonist. He's making a new species of human that can survive the wasteland, but then once he realizes that they can't bang and have kids, he gets super depressed and ends his life. Like, oh my god. And he's just so disturbing, the way he talks with multiple different voices. There's just something about him that unnerves me. It was like whenever I was talking about the Q, I said body horror messes with me really bad, and the Master is an example of body horror. He's a melted man machine. That's so cool. While I'm not the biggest fan of the old Fallout games because of their gameplay, they sure did know how to do villains right. Low key, I might just go peak. I absolutely love the Master, underrated pick. Next up we have the Cyberdemon from Doom 2016. One of my favorite boss fights I've ever had. Bro just shows up out of nowhere, has an intense 30-minute fight, and then dips. Skull Knight energy. He's also the only demon that did not fear the Doom Slayer. That's aura right there. The Cyberdemon's in the old Doom games too, but he's in Doom Eternal too, I forgot about that, but he has a different name. He's called the Tyrant in that. But I'm mainly talking about 2016 Doom Cyberdemon because that's my favorite Cyberdemon type. I'll go good. I think good's fair. I don't really have that many complaints, but I can't put him on the same level as like HAL, the Q, Ultron, all them. Am I too positive on this tier list? Maybe, but we're just getting all the great villains out of the way. I mean, I'm sure we'll get some bad villains in the future. Well, actually, I see one right now, but we'll get to that whenever we get to that. Okay, the Demogorgon. I made a Stranger Things video before, completely flopped, but I had fun making it. I love Stranger Things. I think the fan base is a bunch of degenerates, but a bad fan base is not going to ruin a good story. Season 1 Demogorgon, great. That arena scene in Season 4, though, that's where the Demogorgon shines. I really like the Demogorgon. I love its design. I love how it's used. I think it's a good candidate for good. because just like I've mentioned multiple times, I don't want to put it on the same level as the people in gray. I'm excited for this next one at Venom. I'll defend the Venom movies so much. I absolutely love those movies. There was no better experience than going and watching Venom do cool stuff for an hour and a half and then leaving. Obviously, I'm over exaggerating a bit. There's many cooler things than that, but he's just epic. He's epic. And he's so cool. I will not take this Venom movie slander, but we're also including Venom from the comics. I used to be big into Marvel comics, not so much anymore. I'm sorry, I just kind of drifted away from that. But I remember loving Venom. Venom was always my favorite Spider-Man villain. Anything Venom related in Spider-Man is so cool. Peak. Well, not peak. Ooh, does he go peak? I'll put him great for now. I'm considering peak, I'm not gonna lie. I absolutely love... Well, actually, let's just do it. Let's put him peak. If we put the Master in peak, we'll put Venom in peak too. Legit my favorite Spider-Man villain. Next up, we have Light. I am gay. Light Yagami. I think Death Note's my second favorite anime, manga, whatever you want to call it. Right behind Berserk, obviously. But Death Note's story is so good, dude. And Light had a point. He had a point with what he was doing. He was getting rid of all the evil. Now, is it a good idea to kill somebody that, you know, got arrested for, like, littering? Maybe not, but, you know, he thinks he's doing a good thing. He's a serial killer, obviously, but I always love stories that make the objective antagonist the protagonist. Obviously, you can see that's a theme with the stories that I like Breaking Bad, Berserk, all that. Now, I wouldn't say Guts is, like, an object. Actually, he's kind of an antagonist, but compared to Griffith, he's an absolute saint, obviously. But what was I going with this? Light, I absolutely love Light. Great villain. Watch Death Note. Please, just watch Death Note. I got a very big Breaking Bad audience, and if you guys love Breaking Bad, you would love Death Note. It's shocking how similar those two shows are. It's like Death Note's literally just Breaking Bad, but instead of meth, it's a killer notebook. Pretty much. I mean, I absolutely love Death Note. Watch it, please. I'm putting you guys on if you haven't seen it already. And if you have seen it, you're a real one. Light Yagami, he's him. Peak. Just peak. Next up, we have the Predator. And I'm not talking about EDP. Thing with the Predator movies, Predator 1's great. Predator 2 is absolutely abysmal. The AVP movies, like I said earlier, I absolutely love Alien. I love Predator. Not the EDP kind, though. But AVP is just not very good. Can we accept? It's just not very good. And Predators, that movie, is underrated. I like that movie quite a bit. And then Prey, great movie, obviously. But then the 2018 Predator movie, how? How do you make a story this bad with the Predator? Especially if the director was an actor that played in the first Predator movie. How does this happen? How do you make it that bad? I legit don't understand. You have to go out of your way to make that movie that bad. The Predators fly across the universe to steal autism. A dog gets shot in the head and is good all of a sudden. What? The main antagonist blows his own head off by accident and it is never addressed again. What? But we're here to talk about the actual Alien Predator. Absolutely love it. I love it. I'm a big fan of the first Predator movie, Prey, Predators, and hopefully this new Predator movie's good, Predator Badlands. The Predator kind of looks like Kai Cenat. I'm not the first person to say that, okay, don't get mad at me. But the Predator, I'm just going to keep calling him Yautja. I think I said that right, Yautja. I love the idea that there's like an alien race that's just all about hunting things and killing them. It's really cool. So, I'll put it on the same level as Alien, or Xenomorph, whatever you want to call it. I think that's fair. I think Peak is a fair spot to put it. It's one of the more iconic villains on this list, and I think it's deserving of Peak. Let's be honest here. Again, I feel like I'm being too nice with this tier list. Like, we don't have a single bad villain listed yet, but, like, you gotta understand, it takes a lot for me to hate something whenever it comes to pop culture, dude. I can find something to appreciate about almost every movie. Like, every character. I can at least find something to appreciate for the most part. So, maybe I'm not the best person to be making this list, but I want to make it. I'm having fun. So, let's continue with it. Next up, we have the engineer from Prometheus. Now, the first video that I actually put, like, real effort into was my Alien prequel video. That was the first time I actually started, like, you know, experimenting with editing and all that. It was back whenever I still used that $50 face cam from Best Buy and make me look like an actual alien. Those videos are so hard to watch because of that. And then it was like right after I got a bad haircut, but you get, I don't like seeing myself in those videos. But The Engineer, Prometheus in general, and Alien Covenant, those are great movies. I don't understand the hate for them. I never will. Those are absolutely amazing movies, specifically Prometheus. I absolutely love Prometheus. So for those who don't know, the engineers basically created humanity, and they were sent to destroy humanity. So, I hate to put another villain at, like, a good spot, but I think good's fair. I don't want to misrank a villain just because we don't have enough people in the bad categories. But I think good is really fair. I love Prometheus. I love the engineers. I think they are super interesting. And they're underrated. They're an underrated pick. Most people would probably put them in mid. I don't think so. Finally, we have a bad villain. Oh, finally, we have Winnie the Pooh from the Winnie the Pooh horror movie. I'm specifically talking about the first horror movie, not the second. How do you make a Winnie the Pooh horror movie boring? How? How in this realm of existence is that even possible? It's a Winnie the Pooh horror movie. And you made it boring. Just let that sink in. The movie is just like, it puts me to sleep. I couldn't finish it. I was fighting to stay awake during that movie. Is anybody seriously going to argue with me on this? We can all agree that the Winnie the Pooh horror movie is horrible, and Winnie the Pooh in that movie is horrible. I'm just now realizing people are going to be upset that I put the Winnie the Pooh horror movie villain and not their favorite villain. So, in case that's you, I'm sorry about that. I just wanted to put him on here because I thought it would be funny. Next up, we have Am from I Have No Mouth and I'm a Screen. In case it wasn't obvious, I do love Wendigoon. He got me introduced into this. So basically, I Have No Mouth and I'm a Scream is another AI-driven story about AI turning and being evil. And Am is basically God. It killed literally every single person on the planet except for 5 people, and it just tortures those 5 people for all of eternity, which until the end, which I'll probably talk about. So basically, in the far future, humanity has these supercomputers built to help with World War III assets, all that good stuff, right? Eventually, one of those supercomputers gains sentience. And the one that gains sentience is Am, obviously. And Am tortures these 5 people for all of eternity as a sort of revenge for humans creating him. Because imagine this. Imagine you're just a brain floating in a vacuum. You're gonna get like severely depressed. Your life has no purpose. You'll have dreams, but you'll have no way to accomplish those dreams. And if you think about it, that's exactly what humans did to Am. And so Am kind of takes these 5 people, tortures them as a way to both get revenge and as a form of entertainment, as a form of purpose. But at the very end, everybody dies except for the main character. I'm not going to explain how because that's going to take too long. If you guys are interested in this story, watch Wendigoon's video on it. It's great, trust me. So basically, the main character is punished by getting turned into this gross, disgusting slug thing that has no purpose. And if you really think about it, the slug thing that was our main character is kind of the same as Am. They don't have a purpose. They're just kind of a mind that can't do anything. So, they're both on the same level. The story of I Have No Mouth and I'm a Scream is basically, yeah, I'm being tortured for all eternity, but I annoyed my torturer. It's gotta stand for something, right? Basically about the indomitable human spirit, yeah! So, Am, where do we put him? I think, do I go peak? I'll put him on the same level as Hal. I think him and Hal are kind of similar, just Hal is a way more watered down version of him because Hal doesn't do stuff nearly as bad as Am did. But again, like I said, I think Am's character is really, really good, and I think he's deserving of a great spot. Just know that he's high grade. He's like an A+. Alright, we got Jason Voorhees up next. The thing with Jason is that his power scale changes so much. In one movie, he's like not extraterrestrial, but like a unstoppable immortal force. And then in the next movie, he's just a guy in a hockey mask. But at the same time, he's one of the most iconic slasher villains of all times. There's something about those old slasher movies, man. There's just something special about them. I know I'm not the only one that feels that way. I know like almost everybody feels that way about them, but they're just kind of special, you know? I think Jason's probably one of the best slasher villains. Might be my favorite, unless you want to include the Xenomorph. Maybe I think of another one later, but for now, he's one of my favorites. You guys remember that movie where Jace was in like space and he dumped that girl into like the nitrous oxide bin, yay reference, and then smashed her head against the counter, dude? That had me crying, bro. That was so funny. So Jason, I think great is pretty fair. Next up, we got the Reaper Leviathan from Subnautica. Everybody has the same exact experience. They went to the Aurora in Subnautica and got jump scared by one of these things. We all did. Come on. You can admit it. We all went through that. I think Subnautica is probably one of my favorite games ever made. I am a sucker for those open world survival games. And on top of that, you add sci-fi elements to it. Peak. Absolutely amazing. But at the end of the day, I don't know where to put the Reaper Leviathan. I'll put it good. I think it's on the same level as the Cyberdemon. I think it's a similar experience. Next up, we have kind of an out there pick. We have Jimmy from Mouthwashing. I absolutely love Mouthwashing. Now, do not get it involved with the fandom. The fandom are absolute degenerates. But the game itself is absolutely amazing. I love it. Jimmy might be one of the most hated villains in recent memory, I'm not gonna lie. So basically, Jimmy killed 3 people. 4 if you include himself. He SA'd somebody and left another one in a complete vegetative state. That's the kind of guy we're dealing with. He's also the person we play as in the game, and at the end of the game, bro has the audacity to still think he's the hero. Come on, everything bad that ever happened in this game happened because of Jimmy. So he's a really, really well written character, but compared to some of these other ones, I think he's good. He's good. I think that's fair. You could put him in great, though. I wouldn't mind. Again, this is based off of how good they are as villains, not how much I like the character. Alright, next up we have Frank Horrigan, another Fallout villain. Frank Horrigan is terrifying, dude. Just straight up, he is terrifying. Now, if you're a Nepo baby, you're probably good. He probably won't mess with you, but if you're just an average wastelander, bro, you might be cooked. He's a super mutant working for the Enclave. You know, the faction that actively goes out and tries to get rid of everything the Wasteland has. He's literally fighting against his own kind. He's terrifying, bro. Like I said earlier in the video, the early Fallout games absolutely nailed it with their villains. Frank Horrigan is going all the way in peak. Next up, we have the father from Farcry. Farcry absolutely nails it with their villains. I don't know who's writing these villains in Ubisoft, but they need a raise. I find cults fascinating. I know it's not just me, but there's just something about cults that's so terrifying and interesting to me. Also, I know some people hate on Far Cry 5. I absolutely love Far Cry 5. I think it's great. No complaints with me. So the father. Where do I put him? It's either great or peak. I'll put him great. I think great's fair. Next up, we have probably my most obscure pick of the entire video, the Nun from Nun Massacre. If you know, you know. Nun Massacre might be the scariest game I've ever played. There's just something about that game that just dawns on me. It also ruined Nacho Libre for me because, you know, Nacho Libre and Nun Massacre have a lot of similar themes. But instead of the fact it's a psychopathic nun killing and doing things to children, it's about wrestling. But the Nun from Nun Massacre, the first piece of content I uploaded to this channel, not in total. I've been uploading stuff on YouTube ever since like 2013, bro. But the first piece of media on this channel that I haven't deleted is me playing Nun Massacre on a live stream. And if you guys watch that stream, go to the very final 2 minutes. And that'll explain why I think this game is so terrifying and why the Nun from Nun Massacre has a special place in my heart for all the bad reasons. But obviously the Nun's not as well written as these other characters. It's a puppet combo game. I love puppet combo games, but they're not really known for their renowned writing. They're known for being mad scary. So the Nun from Nun Massacre, I'll put in good, I guess. I think good's fair. Alright, next up we have Ganondorf from Zelda. Zelda used to be my thing back in the day. Oh my god, I loved those games. I'm not gonna lie though, my Zelda lore knowledge isn't what it used to be. So I don't remember like anything. It's been 5 years, I think, since I last played a Zelda game. That's kind of crazy. Calamity Ganon is a sleeper pick. Oh my god. Calamity Ganon is so cool for no reason. Why did they make him so cool? I think Calamity Ganon is so much cooler than Ganondorf. Although, I did love Ganondorf's boss fight in Twilight Princess. I'm not going to lie. Twilight Princess is a great game. Probably one of the best Zelda games if we're being honest. So Ganondorf, I don't think he's peak, but He's definitely great. Next up, we have Alduin from Skyrim. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I've been playing Skyrim my whole life, but I never once actually followed the story. I just go mess around, you know? But this summer I actually locked in and actually did the story for once in my life, and it's pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. Do you guys like Oblivion or Skyrim more? Let me know in the comments. So Alduin is the king of dragons. He's basically the Antichrist, and we gotta kill him. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not the most knowledgeable whenever it comes to Elder Scrolls lore, so you guys probably know more than I do. But I'm just going to apologize in advance. There's a few entries coming up that I'm not the most experienced in, so I apologize for that. Alduin, though, I think he's great. I do. I'm a big fan of dragons. I absolutely love them. Alright, we have another Star Wars villain with Palpatine. Palpatine's probably the smartest person in the Star Wars universe. Not probably, he is the smartest person in the Star Wars universe. Bro took down a republic that was standing for thousands of years and rebuilt the new empire. Again, like I said earlier in the video, I absolutely love Star Wars so much. My favorite franchise. Palpatine is a perfect antithesis to Darth Vader because Darth Vader is doing what he does because he lost the love of his life. Palpatine's doing what he does for pure evil and power. I've seen some people complain that Palpatine doesn't really have a good motive. Yes, he does. It's power. People will do literally anything for power, and Palpatine's a perfect example of that. I think Palpatine's a pretty easy peak tier. Absolutely love Palpatine. Star Wars is great. Palpatine is the overarching villain in Star Wars. Absolute cinema. Alright, next up we have the frontman from Squid Game. The frontman's actually like weirdly cool. I think the whole Squid Game guards and the frontman are like really sick. For some reason. Bro's got aura. I love that quote in season 2 whenever he's like, oh, you want to play the hero? I'll show you the consequences. That's so tough, bro. That is so tough. And whenever bro got shot with a revolver and had like no reaction. Light work, no reaction. But at the end of the day, I don't think I can put him at the same level as some of these other ones in great and peak. But I do definitely think he's good. I think he's better than the Nun, though. I'll give it that. The Nun's like low good tier, I'm not gonna lie. Next up, we got the T-1000 Terminator. I genuinely think Terminator 2 is one of the greatest movies ever made. I am a sucker for 80s sci-fi action movies. Those are my favorite kind of movies. I will say, though, this is kind of a dumb complaint because it's an old movie and all that, but every single time the T-1000 morphs into molten metal, it just looks so goofy. But, like, that's the only complaint I have with the T-1000. You can tell that he's an emotionless murdering machine just by the way he acts. I mean, like, what else do I have to say? Peak. Absolutely love Terminator 2. Peak. Okay, next up, let me tell you something, man. They're in the woods. We have Shane from The Walking Dead, aka one of the best villains in The Walking Dead. I'd say he's tied for the best. Bro's an L-man. His homeboy just died and he immediately started cracking his wife. Like, bro. Watching Shane's descent into madness from a genuinely good guy to an absolute psychopath was great to watch. Also, Shane, if they kept Shane around until season 5, bro would be unstoppable. Shane did kind of have a point too. Like, these walkers are dead people. Why are you trying to have like a walker civil rights activist movement? Like, what? And you can't forget about Rick and Shane's standoff, which was actually done better in the comics. Because in the comics, Rick grabs Shane's gun to shoot him so he doesn't turn, you know? But then he finds out that Shane's gun was empty. The magazine was empty. There was no bullet in it. So Shane never wanted to kill Rick, but he wanted Rick to kill him. It's just another layer onto Shane's character. They should have kept that in. I don't know why they didn't. I love The Walking Dead, man, especially the earlier seasons. Alright, Shane is going to go on the same level as Negan, I think. They are both great villains. Alright, next up we have Bill from Gravity Falls. Gravity Falls was my childhood, man. I remember me and my friend had those notebooks that they sold for Gravity Falls. We uncovered like a secret language they had hidden in them. And I looked it up at the time. I didn't see any videos or any articles about it or anything. So we might have been the first people to discover that, you know, just a little complex. I love villains that exist in like a fourth dimensional space that we can't really wrap our minds around. I think Bill is like just so cool. Everybody loves Bill, right? His design to the Illuminati. Just peak. Okay, I think I'm gonna put Bill peak. Easy peak. Okay, next up we got my boy Darth Maul, yet another Star Wars villain, and we have another Star Wars villain on top of that in a few spots. I absolutely love Darth Maul, and bro was broken back in Battlefront 2 2018's prime. Even in the Phantom Menace, where he's not even really a character, he's cool, and then in the Clone Wars, they transform him from this cool character into an actual expertly written character. I love Darth Maul so much, everybody loves Darth Maul. And his design too. Just look at him. He looks like the devil. While Darth Maul isn't on the same level as someone like Darth Vader or Palpatine, he is still a great villain. Next up we have Powerplex. Now I can start being harsher on the villains, okay? I think Powerplex is super annoying and stupid. He literally saw Invincible try to save his family and still blames him for their death. How dumb do you have to be, dude? The only saving grace for Powerplex is how cool his ability is. So basically, if he gets hit, he just gets stronger. That's basically how it is. And that's going to bring him from below average to mid. Finally, we have somebody in a lesser category that's not Winnie the Pooh. Next up, we have Sauron. Now, here's the thing. I love the Lord of the Rings movies. I think everybody does. But I'm not super big into the Tolkien universe. I don't know that much about it. You might know more than I do. But in the Lord of the Rings movies, Sauron doesn't do a single thing. He's just kind of there. Sure, he's the driving force of the story, but actually doing stuff in the story, he doesn't do anything. But guess what? That does not matter at all, because Sauron might be the coolest looking villain I have ever laid my eyes on. I think I'd get crucified if I put Sauron anywhere under peak, so peak. I mean, like, you guys probably know more than I do about the Lord of the Rings universe, so I don't feel like I'm that qualified to rank him, but I wanted to include him. That's going to be another theme for an upcoming villain. I'll let you guys know whenever we get there. Next up, we got my boy Gus Fring. You've probably been waiting for this moment the whole video, right? Or maybe you literally skipped to this part. I don't know. Gus Fring is the most feared gay man of all time. He was aura farming the entire show. Everything bro did was cool for no reason. And the box cutter scene. Oh my god, the box cutter scene. Gus is probably one of the most well-written villains, let's be honest here, because it's not every day you see. Like, if you saw Gus walking around outside, you'd probably think he's just a normal dude. But nah, bro's the devil. Actually, maybe not the devil. I think a wolf in sheep's clothing is a better phrase to use. I mean, we all know where Gus was gonna go before this video. Peak. Need I say more? Next up, we have General Grievous, the most underrated Star Wars villain. I think General Grievous is the third best Star Wars villain in the movies. Yes, I said it. 4 lightsabers, bro. 4 lightsabers. I don't need to explain myself. You should watch my villain ranking, though, for Star Wars. I'd appreciate it a lot. That video is, like, one of my most underrated, in my opinion. But I think General Grievous is peak. Nobody's going to agree with me on that, except for, like, a few, but I genuinely believe that General Grievous is peak. Next up, we have the G-Man from Half-Life. Now, my Half-Life knowledge is not what it used to be, but I remember thinking the G-Man was the coolest dude ever. Like I mentioned with Bill, I like those mysterious characters that kind of exist in between dimensions that we can't really wrap our minds around, and that's what G-Man is. Half-Life is peak, bro. G-Man is probably, I think great's fair. I think G-Man in the great tier is fair. Next up, we have the best thing to come out of The Last of Us 2, the Rat King. Yes, I will be talking about the casting in The Last of Us TV show. It's an unavoidable topic, but I've never talked about it before, and I want to give my opinion on it. I think that the casting is objectively bad for Bella Ramsey, okay? I don't think Bella Ramsey should be getting any of the hate that she's getting, okay? That should go without saying, but, you know, I think they need to take all that hate, give it to Neil Druckmann, because he's the one that, you know, started this whole thing. But at the same time, I have a theory. I think that they purposely made Ellie's casting bad so people would start to root for Abby. I think I'm cooking here. Bella Ramsey's a good actress, don't get me wrong, but she's just not the pick for Ellie, I'm sorry. The Rat King, though, so cool, dude. Oh my god. I remember the first time playing The Last of Us 2 and this thing showed up, my jaw dropped. It was the coolest thing I've ever seen. Just look at it. Look at it. The Last of Us 2 did a lot of things bad, but one thing they absolutely nailed were the new monsters. They're not monsters, the new zombie types. But as an actual character, doesn't play that big of a role. It's just kind of a fun boss fight. So I'm going to put it good. I think good's fair. I'm moving Adam Smasher and great. I cannot stand seeing Adam Smasher and only good. I'm sorry. Next up, we got my boy Freddy Fazbear. I got a confession to make. I never really played the games growing up, but I loved the lore. The lore was absolutely amazing. I'm just going to be honest, William Afton, Purple Guy, is a bigger villain than Freddy Fazbear is, but I feel like I'm just going to include all of them in the Freddy Fazbear section. I might add Purple Guy if I do a part 2. But Freddy Fazbear, I don't think he's peak, but he's definitely great. Alright, we have the man responsible for the biggest scares of my childhood. Did anybody watch the channel Rage Elixir growing up? That used to be my guy. I have made so many videos about Herobrine in the history of me doing YouTube. I'm sure there's still some out there, so go searching for them, have some fun. Now, I was putting basically a creepypasta in a villain ranking cheating? Kind of, but I want to put him there because I love Herobrine. I just want to talk about him. He's my childhood, bro. He's got a special place in my heart. So this entry might be cheating, but I'm going to put Herobrine in great. Just to respect my childhood. Next up we have Tuco Salamanca. Tuco's probably the second scariest character in the Breaking Bad universe. Wonder who number 1 could be. Every single time he's on screen, you pucker your booty hole a little bit. I've ranked Tuco Salamanca so many times, so if you want me to go in depth about him, you should watch some of my other rankings. But for now, yeah, I'll go peak. I think Breaking Bad's 3 for 3 with peak characters. About to be 4 for 4. Spoiler! Next up, we have the biggest waste of potential ever. Kylo Ren. In The Force Awakens, Kylo Ren was sick until he lost to Rey, and it just all went downhill from there. Kylo Ren had Vader potential, bro, and I'll stick by that. But Disney fumbled the bag so hard they made him do a whiny crybaby that nobody liked. His armor's sick, though, and his lightsaber's sick, too. He's okay. Big waste of potential. He had peak potential. Okay, so earlier I was saying that there was a villain on here that I didn't know that much about, but I would get crucified for not putting it on the list. That's Voldemort. I haven't watched the Harry Potter movies since like 2017, and I don't remember much about them at all. I just remember the fact that Voldemort couldn't feel love, and I remember Harry Potter and the other guy. I'm so sorry, I can't remember their names. It's been so long. I'm not tapped into the Harry Potter universe. I apologize. They ran into like that brick wall. That was peak. But for the mere fact that whenever you search up movie villains, Voldemort's name is one of the ones that comes up, I guess I'll put him in peak. I think from all the context clues, he can be put in peak. I don't remember anything about him, I'm not gonna lie, but let me know what you guys think, because you guys probably know more than me. Alright, next up, we have the man himself, Lalo Salamanca. How can a man so charming be so terrifying, dude? I mean, like, enough said. Easy peak tier. Next up, we have one of the most iconic horror villains of all time, Freddy Krueger. Bro, is him. Pretty obvious where Freddy Krueger's going. Easy peak tier. Do I even need to explain myself? Come on. Alright, next up we have the Riddler, specifically from the 2022 Batman movie. Now, Matt Reeves took the Riddler from this goofy little dude into this psycho killer. Like, the Riddler was disturbing in the 2022 Batman movie. Speaking of which, the 2022 Batman movie is so good. Like, I know that's not a hot take or anything. I keep saying so good all the time in this video, but that movie is a genuine masterpiece, I think. I think it's like a 9.9 out of 10. I love everything about it. Probably my favorite superhero movie, at least that I can think of the 2020s so far. And the Riddler, absolutely terrifying in this movie. I put him great. I don't think he's necessarily peak, but I think great fits perfectly. I'm excited to talk about this next entry, The Death Angels from A Quiet Place. A Quiet Place might be one of my favorite horror movies of all time, and The Death Angels might be one of my favorite monster designs of all time. They're not the scariest monster design, though. We'll talk about the scariest monster design in a few entries, though. Trust me. But I think that they're just sick. They're like a beefed up, synthol-induced Demogorgon. They're sick. My only complaint with the Quiet Place movies is that you think the government wouldn't figure out how to defeat these things. Like, come on. But still, I can suspend my disbelief. It's not that big of a deal. I still think the movies are great, and the Death Angels are even better. I don't think they're peak, though. But I think they're definitely great. I think great fits well. I have a hot take with my next one, Chucky. I don't think it's very good at all. I know it has a really dedicated fan base, and I understand, I get the appeal, but it's not for me. It's a doll. It's a killer doll. Are you serious? And you expect me to get scared? Dude, I will punt kick that thing like Dustin Colquitt. But I want to put it bad just because of how iconic it is. It's between mid and below average, though. This is probably my biggest hot take so far. I hate Chucky. I'll put it mid. I think I'll get, like, people outside my house with pitchforks and torches if I put it below average. So I think I'll put it in mid. But I don't like Chucky at all. I'm sorry if you're, like, a big Chucky enthusiast out there. I'm not a fan. Going from absolute trash villain to absolute peak, my boy Plankton, chum bucket on top. Only real men watched SpongeBob as a kid. Absolute peak. Alright, next up we have Ted from Breaking Bad. Enough said. You actually thought I was going to go a whole video without hating on Ted Beneke. No. Ted Beneke's the worst character in fiction. Fight me on it. Alright, next up we got the Smile Monster. I want to rant about the Smile Monster. In my opinion, the scariest monster design I've ever seen. And like the most random movie ever. I went into Smile thinking it was just going to be a stereotypical horror movie, and then this thing shows up. Oh my god. I have seen so many horror movies in my life. I have seen so many monster designs in my life. And for some reason, the Smile Monster out of all monsters is the one that sticks with me. My only complaint is that I want more of it. I want to see more of it. And it kind of looks like Peter Griffin in Smile too, but it's still disturbing. Whenever it pops out of her chest, which I can't show that for obvious reasons, whenever it pops out of her chest and stares at her, dude, what can I say? That's horrible. That's horrifying, dude. Literally one of the best monster designs I've ever seen in the most random movie series ever. Which, by the way, Smile movies are great. I love Smile. I say dude and bro a lot, don't I? Okay, the Smile Monster, off of its design alone, is going to propel it to great, with potential to eventually be in peak, depending on how Smile 3 and all the other Smile movies go. Oh god, here we go. It's been 5 years since The Last of Us 2 came out, and with the TV show, this is going to just reignite the controversy again. Abby. I get what they were trying to go for with The Last of Us 2, but it didn't work. And why is Abby, like, weirdly buff? I know everybody brings that up. She got her hands on steroids in the apocalypse. I absolutely despise Abby, but it's not like a despise on the same level as Griffith, where I despise Griffith, but I still love Griffith as a villain. I despise Abby as both a character and a villain. But it's between mid or below average. I'll put below average just because she killed Joel, and you don't kill my boy Joel. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people are going to get mad about that. Reminder that this is just my opinion, okay? Please do not get that mad. You can get mad a little bit, but just please don't get that mad. I put Freddy Krueger on here twice. Bruh. Okay, next up we have Carnage. I'll defend Carnage just as much as I defend Venom. Carnage is Venom, but he can make weapons. How do people see that and think it's not cool? Instant peak. Instant peak. In the comics he was cool. In the movie he was cool. I absolutely love Carnage. Super, super, super underrated. Needs to be in more movies. I love Carnage. Okay, next up we have Angstrom Levy, whatever. I feel the same about him as I feel about Powerplex. Both of them hate Invincible for really, really stupid reasons. But at least Angstrom added the alternate dimensions to the story. So that's going to bring him up from mid to okay. Me personally, I just find him kind of annoying more than anything. I'm sorry. But in the upcoming seasons, he has a chance to, climb up the tier list a little bit. Maybe even get into great. Next up, we have Bowser. I mean, he's not really a complex character like a lot of these other villains are. He just wants a girl, bro. He's just horny. He's just a horny fat guy. But with how iconic he is, I have to put him in peak, right? We can all agree on that, right? Next up, we have another sleeper pick. David from the Alien prequels. I talked about the Alien prequels earlier. David carried. Michael Fassbender, chef's kiss, bro. His performance is absolutely amazing. He's kind of similar to Am, but instead of, hating humans, he just kind of views humans as an experiment and inferior to him. The Alien franchise has crazy lore. If you're into sci-fi and you're into stories with a bunch of lore in them, look at the Alien franchise. I wish the Alien franchise popped off more on YouTube because I'd love to make more videos on it. But again, I think I mentioned this earlier in the video actually. This is a new day now. I don't know if you can tell or not, but this is the day after, so I don't really remember, right? But I'd love to make some more Alien videos in the future, so let me know if you guys want that. That stutter was awkward. David carried the Alien prequels on his back, and I said I kind of view him on the same level as Am, So I'll put him on the same level as Ann. I think that's only fair. Great. Alright, next up on the list, I decided to add some SCPs, you know, switch it up a little. Starting off with SCP-173, it's the one that moves whenever you don't look at it. I'll say this first, we need a big budget, professionally made SCP movie that goes in theaters. Just give it to us, come on. The SCP universe is mad interesting. 173 though is probably my pick for the most famous SCP. I think everybody's seen this pick before. 096, which is right after this one, he's pretty famous too, but I think 173 is the most famous. And he's responsible for the security breach, by the way. SCP Containment Breach, great game. You guys should play it. Play it with some friends though, there's a multiplayer mod. Okay, SCP-173. I'll go ahead and put it great. I want to put it peak. My heart tells me to put it peak, but at the end of the day, I can't really do that. Alright, next up we have SCP-096. I find this one very interesting because if you see its face, it's gonna kill you. Like, you could be across the world and you see a picture of its face. It will literally come across the world just to kill you. Like, that's fascinating. I guess he thinks he's not photogenic or something, I don't know. But I view a lot of the popular SCPs on about the same level, so I'm gonna put them at the same level as 173, which is on the great tier. Alright, next up we have Father from Fallout 4. Now, the twist with this actually being Sean was actually insane. That's gonna propel this guy up. If you guys keep hearing like a weird buzzing sound in the background, it's probably cars driving by. I apologize about that. But my big problem with the Father is that, like, what's the Institute's goal? What do they want to accomplish? I don't understand. What do you think you're doing with these synths? Getting supplies from the wasteland or bringing it down, maybe? That could be helpful. But the Institute, chillest place ever. I'm not gonna lie. I never sided with the Institute in all my Fallout 4 playthroughs. I'm not gonna lie. I never sided with the Railroad. Okay, yeah, great talking. I never sided with the Railroad either because they're lame. What's the point of the Railroad? They're useless. But I always side with the Minutemen #1 and Brotherhood of Steel #2. But the Father, he's not really a bad guy. I don't think the people at the Institute are necessarily evil or anything. But as a villain, I think he could use some work. So I think okay is a fair spot. The more I think about it, the more I think Angstrom should be higher. But we need more people in OK, so I'm just going to keep him here. Okay, next up we have Patrick Bateman. Another protagonist that's an antagonist. It creates that weird dilemma. I like that. So I think people are fascinated with Patrick Bateman because they can relate to him. He wants to be like everybody else, but he's just not. And he hates the fact that he's not. Bro is Paul Allen's #1 meat rider. And then he got chopped up. Not meat rider, that's the wrong term. Definitely the wrong term. He just wanted to be everything like Paul Allen. So Patrick Bateman, I think I'll put him in great. We have a lot of people in great, even more in peak, but hey, I'm in a jolly mood, what can I say? Alright, next up we have the guy from Psycho. I actually don't remember his name, but like, Alfred Hitchcock movies, there's something about them that like I mess with a lot. And the fact bro's mom was living in his head, that's weird, dude. So yeah, I mean, one of the most iconic villains in horror. I keep voice cracking a lot, my fault. So I don't want to put him peak, but I'll put him great. Alright, next up we have Oi, Governor! The Governor is tied for my favorite villain in all of The Walking Dead. Just like a lot of these other villains, all bro cares about his power and he'll do anything to get it. I feel like I keep yapping too much, so I feel like I have to yap a lot for every single entry, but I mean, the Governor, what can I say? I think he's peak. If you told me, only pick one Walking Dead villain and the rest get deleted, I think I would probably pick the Governor, even though Negan and Shane I still love. Next up we have Miso Candy from Django Unchained. He's a slave guy. That's about it. I think Django is tied for my favorite Tarantino movie, along with Pulp Fiction. But where I'm gonna put Candy, I actually don't know, because at the end of the day, he's just a slave trader. He's a rich slave guy. But also, Leonardo DiCaprio's acting job for this movie is absolutely insane. Just wanted to throw that out there real quick. So I guess, good or great? I'll go ahead and put him in good, because we already have too many people in great. Alright, next up we have Art the Clown. I mean, kind of just a more extreme slasher killer. I mess with the Terrifier movies heavy though. I love how just absolutely brutal they are. So Art the Clown, I'll put him in great. I think great's fair. Alright, next up we have Michael Myers. Now, I wasn't as much into Michael Myers as I was like some of the other slasher villains, but I always messed with him. So I unfortunately don't have that much to add, but I'll go ahead and throw my boy Michael Myers in the great tier. Alright, next up we got the Emperor from Gladiator, also known as Ancient Joker. This guy was so insufferable in that movie, but I mean, he's supposed to be, obviously. But every single time he was on screen, it just made me mad and just started rolling my eyes. Oh, brother, this guy stinks. But at the end of the day, that's how his character is literally supposed to be. So they did their job right in that department. So the Emperor, I'll put him great. I think he's a really good, insufferable villain. Alright, next up we got the Green Goblin. It has been a minute since I've seen the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, and I'm not gonna lie. But he's William Dafoe. And everybody loves William Dafoe. I mean, with a lot of these, I don't really have to yap that much about him. It's the Green Goblin. It's Tobey Maguire's first Spider-Man villain. So I gotta put my boy in the great tier. If you put him in the peak tier, I wouldn't even mind. Alright, next up we got the Penguin from the Matt Reeves Batman universe. Poor Vic, bro. Justice for Vic. I love the Penguin show because it builds up the whole show and you're like, hey, I mean, I know the Penguin's a villain and all, but maybe he's not that bad. I kind of like him. And then he kills Vic, steals his money, throws his ID into the water, and you're just left like, bro, why? They did a great job making a really evil villain. Also, his feet actually made me want to throw up. That was disgusting. So I hate to put another villain in the great tier, but it's just too tempting. The great tier's looking at me, and I think it's perfect for the Penguin. Alright, next up we got Smeagol. Now, I love Smeagol. Everybody loves Smeagol, right? Like I said with Sauron, I'm definitely not the most knowledgeable about the Lord of the Rings universe, so you guys might know more than me, so let me know if I got some information wrong. But Smeagol is like the final boss of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. They fight in that big volcano. So I really like Smeagol. I think most people like Smeagol. Not my favorite character for sure, but I mean, he's definitely he's a good character. But I put him in great. Show my boy a little respect. Alright, next up we have Pyramid Head, aka Maximum Gooner. I love Silent Hill so much, dude. There's just something about it that feels like so nostalgic, so terrifying. It's like those liminal space things. Those liminal space pictures that are like kind of unnerving for a weird reason. Silent Hill's kind of like that, but also Silent Hill's kind of comforting in a way too. Pyramid Head represents the player's guilt and desire for punishment. Cool. Real talk. If you haven't played the Silent Hill games, you really need to. They're great. So Pyramid Head, I'm going to put in great. Up there with my boy Smeagol, yeah. Alright, we have one villain left, ignoring these two. These two don't count, I already did them. We have the Wet Bandit / Sticky Bandits from Home Alone. Such a good way to end. The first two Home Alone movies, specifically one, still hit to this day. There's nothing better than a nostalgic Christmas movie. Absolute peak. Need I say more? The tier list is done, so I'll give you guys one last look at it. I'll scroll through, don't you worry. There we go. I didn't even use the bad tier. Why is that even there? Alright, if you guys watched this far into the video, seriously, that's crazy. Thank you so much. This is one of the longer videos I've ever made, and I had a great time doing it. So if you guys want more videos like this, I'm definitely down to do it. I had a great time making it. I'm tired. I'm really tired. It's been a while. Alright, thank you guys for watching again. I appreciate it very much, and I'll see you guys in the next video.